There we are. It's April 18th. It's Thursday, and it's an afternoon. We're making a special broadcast today of 30 minutes of Dok Tok with Judy Friesen in the afternoon on Thursday because of conflicts of schedule. But today is a great topic. We're going to be talking about glutathione. Do you even know what it is? And if you don't, we'd like to introduce you to how important this detoxifier is. We're going to talk about that on the show and so much more. So without further ado, let's get this started right now. Well, without any further detention, we're going to bring Judy straight on to the stage. Welcome and good afternoon, Judy. We're doing a special time broadcast today. So welcome to the show, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about glutathione.
Good afternoon, Carl, and good afternoon or evening or whatever the case may be to our audience. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And we're all about natural health, and we're all about helping people. And we want to say at the outset that we are not doctors. We're not. We don't have the post-nominal letters to our name. We don't pretend to be doctors. But what we are real participants in our own health, and we are very concerned about your health too, and how we may be able to share some insights into all natural health. So, Judy, her
right,
background.
Carl. We are excited about.
Just a quick background on Judy. 38 years experience. She is a health coach and consultant. And that is why I am privileged to work this Dok Tok that we have here every Thursday. And so today we're going to talk about glutathione. Judy, from the top, what is glutathione? And how important is it for our audience to know what this does for our bodies?
Well, glutathione, Carl, is often referred to as the master antioxidant in our body. And what that means, an antioxidant, is it helps to keep our body clean and functioning well. And we need it every single day. Our body works to try to make it, but we don't always have the ability to make enough to keep up with the onslaught of all the toxins that we have in our environment and in our foods. So it's pretty important. It really makes a difference in your energy as well.
So glutathione is naturally occurring in our bodies. The only question is, how much of it do we have at any time? So safe to say, and I think some people might be surprised that they learn or find out that their body does have toxins in it. How does that come to be, Judy?
Yeah, toxins come from a number of sources, Carl. If you've ever had a can of pop, if you've ever opened a can of sardines or a can of beans, you've already got aluminum toxicity, because as the food sits against the insides of our tins, or the drink sits inside a tin, that leaches out over time. Now, some tins that we get our foods in now, they're starting to put a white liner in there, and who knows what all the chemicals are in that white liner. So we may not be getting aluminum, but we may get other things. Doesn't matter whether you are a health crazy nut and you've been eating organic. There is no way on this earth that we are able to absolutely be away from getting toxins into our system. It's in the air we breathe. It comes off of paint. It comes off of a new car. That new car smell, that's not good for you. If you've ever had a water bottle and you've put it in your car and you've gone into the shopping center and you came back and the car is kind of hot, well, guess what? The heat that builds up in the car and it warms up the water inside that plastic water bottle. Some plastic chemicals are coming off that water bottle into your water that you drink. So you can try really hard and drive yourself crazy, But there's so many other easy ways to deal with the fact that you cannot stop your body from ingesting or smelling or breathing in toxins. But we've got some answers today on how do you get rid of those toxins, or how do you protect yourself from those toxins.
I'm simply amazed at how our bodies are created. And we do acknowledge a creator God. We say that proudly. And I'm amazed, in years gone by, glutathione would have been in our bodies then, but less in demand as it is right now. This also extends beyond the air we breathe or the food we eat or any other way in which these toxins enter our body. It also is a reflection of health choices we've made. And we're living in a 3-year post-pandemic, plandemic, however you want to say it, doesn't matter. We're living in that era of post-2023 or post-2020 when all this hit. And we want to talk to some of the people out there who are maybe suffering in silence, which is a sad way to live. And we think we've got some practical advice to give you. And again, we're not doctors. We're just simply pointing you to where you could get some answers. So let's get into it. Talk to us about the glutathione that's necessary in our body, I guess.
Yeah, so we're all fearfully and wonderfully made, and each of us have genetics that organize what our bodies do. And so I can't tell you how many milligrams of glutathione you need, because what your needs are for your body are different than what I need. It also depends on the exposure and how many toxins, what's the load of toxins that you're taking in. By the way, when I mentioned in my introductory comments that the toxins can come from, say, canned goods or water bottles, the food we eat often is sprayed, but then there's deeper toxins, like, as I said, that comes off of a brand new car, or if you decide to repaint your house. But even farther than that, Carl, is that there's genetically modified foods. That's a big controversial thing. I've now looked at a list of all the different oat companies, and you think oats are really healthy and you can buy organic oats. There's even toxins that they spray at the very last before they harvest on fields to make sure that there's no rot or there's no fungus or whatever, or no bugs. And we're ingesting toxins even in good healthy food, even if we boil it, like oats. But even more importantly, there's other things. We've often taken a Tylenol in our life. Most people have been on a prescription for antibiotics. Most people have felt that they needed to succumb to taking kinds of vaccinations. And there's more and more and more evidence that there's toxins, that there's chemicals in these things that we don't only breathe in or eat in, but can you imagine injecting it into your system? Now we've got a whole nother level of toxicity. So it's a good thing that the Creator made our bodies, especially our livers, to make glutathione to kind of combat the generic kind of toxins that you might get if you were back 1,000, 2,000 years ago. You'd maybe eat a plant and it was toxic and your body could handle it. But I don't believe that God made our bodies to handle the kind of toxins that we are ingesting. Do you know there's like 1,500 different chemicals and additives in our regular food?
So I actually didn't know that,
So when we've got this, it's crazy how much we're expecting our body to be working normally with all these toxins. That we weren't designed to be able to do that. That's why we need an increase, not a decrease, in our glutathione storage, because we are expecting the body to do far more than we ever did. And what are we seeing now as a result? We're seeing more neurological disorders. It's in the medical journals that when you have low glutathione, you're more susceptible to viruses, you're more susceptible to long haul viruses staying in your body. Parkinson's, MS, all kinds of diseases are associated with glutathione and how much glutathione our body is able to make, because it's very sensitive to neurological disorders. I'm very concerned about that, plus for our children, what's happening with ADHD and with epilepsy and all kinds of things that are happening neurologically. We really need to take this whole issue of toxins in our environment and the glutathione very seriously.
So if we were to summarize just in brief form, bullet points, some of what you said, our bodies are under siege. The liver is the
Yes.
place where glutathione is manufactured in our bodies, and our liver often bears the consequences of the synthetics, the pharmaceuticals that we put into our body. So we have a competing entities here. We have an ever increasing need for glutathione, but the organ that's primarily is responsible for producing it is somewhat compromised too. So there can be no doubt that we need to focus on raising those glutathione levels. So let's talk about some practical ways in which that can happen. And by the way, when we mention any disease or illness here, we're not recommending that we or any of the products that we are associated with have any direct a correlation. We don't promise to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease by anything we're saying. And certainly with our LifeWave product, we make no claims, but we are simply identifying on the horizon all of the major players in the game, so to speak. So back to my question, how do we combat this with a perhaps deficient liver and an ever increasing need for glutathione?
So it's kind of like a vicious circle. In order to help the liver to be strong and to do what it needs to do, it itself needs to be detoxified. And if there's too many toxins, because the liver will filter your blood and it will filter out the toxins so that it protects the other organ. So it's kind of like your major protective organ. It's filtering all your blood goes through the liver, and it's making sure that those toxins don't get up into the brain, or then you've got a huge problem. So the liver needs to do its job, but it also needs itself to clean itself out. And it tries to do that. But as you get older, some of these toxins that mankind has come up with are so complex chemically that no matter what the liver does, it can't get rid of it. So now it starts to build and store. And we've noticed that particularly mercury and aluminum both are very, very difficult for the liver to deal with. We were never created to ingest aluminum nor mercury. And so if you ingest a toxin from a plant or even eat some rancid piece of meat from an animal, our bodies knew how to deal with that, but our bodies weren't designed to know how to take a 25 chemical chain of something that mankind has come up with and try to figure out how to break it down and get rid of it. So what you asked about, what do we do? I think number one, we need to detoxify, and we need to also then soothe the liver with certain kinds of natural plants that are hopefully not grown with any sprays, and that can actually sustain the liver and keep it healthy. So two things. You want to have the liver make more glutathione, and you want to heal and cleanse the liver with certain kinds of natural herbs. And I can go into that later as time permits.
On the pathway to better health, and we're always advocating for all natural pathways to helping us reestablish our health, to enhance it, and to live younger, live longer, live better. We all want that. So I guess step one is take out the garbage. We got to get the garbage out to the curb. And that's the detoxifying part, where glutathione plays a major role in that. Because how can we put good things into our bodies and do good things when we have these competing toxins in our body? So some people are aware. I'm going to just start off with what some conjectures. Glutathione is available in supplement form, correct? It's also available. Is it available in injections as well, or not? How can you get the glutathione in your body?
Yourself. Yeah, you have to go to a physician to have that done. Usually you'd go to a naturopathic physician or a functional medicine doctor. You won't get that done in your regular, typical medical doctor appointment. But if you go to a naturopathic doctor, you can absolutely get an IV of glutathione.
Perfect. Because, I got to tell you, and I'm not at all ashamed to admit that I've had a very prejudged disposition towards the holistic field. But as I have come to understand it and appreciate, it is one of the most critical areas where we get the natural solutions instead of a script. We know doctors, we love our doctors, we need our doctors. There's no question about that. But it has become a one-sided affair where you come in, you talk about what your health concerns are, and immediately the pad comes out. We don't want to go there if we don't have to.
Right, exactly. And doctors know, they know how to coach us with lifestyle choices, but in their experience, they have found that most of their patients say, Doc, it's too hard for me to change my lifestyle. You're asking me to cut out pop or coffee or canned goods, or it's too hard. And so doctors just stop telling us all the stuff that they know, even if they did know it, because they know that people are wanting a quick fix. And so what we want to help our audience to know is that you're not alone. All of us are out there struggling, but we need to give each other courage and stamina to say, you know what, you can do this. You can make a little change. Don't eat the whole elephant all at one bite. So
Yes.
if you know that you're eating a lot of fried food, deep fried food, and you're eating a lot out of cans and water bottles and all the rest, you know what? A few years ago, I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to have a plastic water bottle in my car. I'm always going to recycle glass jars or something that's safe and put that in the car, so that if the car does heat up the water, I'm not leaching out. So a really good quality stainless steel or a glass water bottle. That's simple. You can do that and get in the habit of doing that. And then you can take the next step about canned goods, or about what kind of food you're eating, or what other choices you make about prescriptions or injections. So there's a step-by-step progress, but you're making progress, and you're giving the liver a break. You're giving that liver a rest to regenerate itself and not have to deal with all the other stuff the liver does and deal with all the load of toxins. That is such a good thing. Is do something kind for your liver today is kind of my mantra.
I love it.
Something, even if it's just one little thing.
Let's call it hashtag liberate the liver. But you said something there a minute ago, and I liberate the liver. But I made a change, and it started in a very accidental way. I've eliminated plastic containers to store my goods in, because the tendency is I'll pop that in the microwave. Now I've got a couple things coming into me, and you know what? It was a simple choice, just to go with glass containers and not have that plastic activated by the heat. But you mentioned the thing about people coming into the doctors, and we live in a microwave mentality. We want it now. We want it easy. We're not prepared to work for it. And the principle of delayed gratification is a part of how you're going to achieve better health and do it all naturally. We have to slow ourselves down and realize that we're in a marathon for our health. It's not a sprint. Over to you, Judy.
It's not a sprint. That's right. It's not a sprint, and it can seem overwhelming, but we don't have to learn everything, and we don't have to do everything, but do something. You don't have to do everything, but do something. And so when you look at the list of the things that a person can do things that you can control to change, which means that you might, like every year, you think of spring cleaning and fall cleaning, let's say. Well, maybe twice a year, do a liver cleanse. Use some of the products that are out there that really soothe and heal the liver. Like milk thistle, for example, is a very, very important herb for the liver, to keep it able to keep up with all that's happening in it. It just does so many things for the body, but specifically for the liver. So there's things that we can do to take care of our liver. So if you go in one door, which is giving it something to help it stay healthy, and then the other side, you're eliminating the load of toxins. Now you've got a compound effect. You're removing the bad stuff and you're putting in something good to kind of help the liver. So when I talk about spring and fall cleaning, I'm talking about going through a bottle or a month worth of this milk thistle that will just give you peace of mind that you're doing something good to keep your liver healthy. Now, obviously, we haven't talked about the big elephant in the room, which is liver is very sensitive, pardon me, to alcohol. So if we're taking in far too much alcohol, that's hard on the liver too. So it's like a toxin in a sense. And some people will say, oh, one drink really gets me really spinning. Well, that's your liver processing the alcohol out. if you feel like you get tipsy within a first couple of minutes, that alcohol is actually being absorbed through your mouth, through the epithelial lining in your mouth and your throat, and it's getting into your bloodstream before the liver has a chance to even process it. So now you've got toxicity in the bloodstream. That blood with the alcohol goes through the liver, and the liver has to work hard to neutralize it. So we have to think about not everything all at once, but look at the big rocks, put those in the jar first, and the little ones will fit in around later. The little ones might be how much fast food are you eating? But start with something simple and easy and help that liver to be healthy so it can actually make the glutathione when you need it, which is pretty much every day.
It's so interesting, because we started off and we were talking about glutathione, but we realized it's the rock in the pond. There are many ripple effects to this talk that we're having today. And some of those play themselves out in really practical ways. And I love what you just said. You don't try to eat an elephant in one bite. You've got to do this simple steps at a time, baby steps, if you want to call it. And they all add up. So in terms of helping that liver to push it out, you're also eliminating the inflow of these toxins as they may come to you. And you don't actually realize that you're doing yourself more harm. So we can talk about practical steps, some of which we've talked about here. And by the way, if you are listening and have more questions, you'll see at the bottom of the banner here that you can contact us at doktok2024@gmail.com. And Judy or myself will get back to you because we're here to help. We don't present here as people who know it all. And anything we say is not a one and done. It's a long way back to get back what we've given up. So in terms of supplements, now you've mentioned milk thistle. That's a great one for the liver. Let's go back to glutathione. What are some of the practical ways in which we can raise our glutathione levels to win this war?
So in order to understand why I'm going to say what I'm going to say, we have to understand that glutathione is actually called a tripeptide. It's got 3 things in it. And one of the things is called cysteine, and that comes from our diet. So that's check. You don't have to take a cysteine supplement. You can get it from your diet unless you're a vegan, because cysteine is plentiful in eggs and dairy and red meat. But if you're a vegan, you're not probably getting those. So then you should take a cysteine supplement in order to have your body make your liver to make the glutathione. The other thing is that they've done a study. Actually, our company, LifeWave, did a study and said, what if we gave you glutathione by mouth? And then another group of people, what if we did the injections we talked about of glutathione? And then the third is, what if we did it through phototherapy? And do you know, Carl, that when you take glutathione by mouth, it lasts maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then your blood glutathione drops. If you take it by an injection, you get tons of it in your system, but then that's also gone within an hour or two. The half-life of glutathione is only like 7 minutes, and it lasts around for a couple hours. And then they looked at these 3 groups. So the ones that took it by mouth, they were able to raise up their glutathione levels by 14%. The ones that took the injection, they were able to raise their glutathione levels by a high amount, 100 or so %, but then it dropped right back down again. And then the third group was the group that used the phototherapy patch that helps to stimulate your own liver to make its own glutathione to its maximum level that you're genetically programmed to do. And guess what? The glutathione levels didn't just go up by 14% or 100%. They went up to an average of 300%. That's because people start with such low glutathione levels that we have that much room to grow. And the nice thing about why I like the phototherapy patch that stimulates your own glutathione is because it's a little bit all day long. It doesn't go up when you ingest it and then down. It stays constant. So now your body's protected all day long in the right dose. I don't know, Carl, whether you need 300 milligrams or whether you need 100 milligrams if you took it by mouth. But the beauty, the absolute beauty of the patch going on your body, on your skin, is that it stimulates your body to make exactly the amount that you need for your genetics to protect you.
Doesn't that just make sense that in stimulating, activating the body itself knows what it needs, but it's not being forced to work with the wrong amount, for example, maybe too little or too much. You get this spike,
That's
and then
right.
your body purges it because it can't use it, perhaps. That might be one way to look at it. But to activate the body naturally, to produce naturally what it can produce naturally, it doesn't get much better than that, because we're not putting into the system something that the body can't know what it needs. And depending on the level of toxins in our body will then produce what it needs. But I have heard those numbers, and I spoke with somebody at LifeWave, and they verified that through their testing. They verified that there was a 300% increase. And I thought, wow, because I had heard and talked to people in the supplement industry that said on average, you might be lucky to get 24% increase if you had a good supplement. But to think of going to 300%, that's unbelievable. That's quite frankly unbelievable.
It is not only unbelievable, but it actually is so unbelievable that I often send people to the medical study that's been published by a peer review. So this is not wishful thinking. This is not placebo effect. This is hard, cold science, because they did urinalysis and blood analysis, and it was done in an independent lab. And so LifeWave has put the time and the money into very verifiable clinical studies, not done on rats, are in mice, they're done on humans. And we know for a fact that the blood and the urine, they don't lie. These tests do not lie. And these tests are available to anybody who asks. We can send them those published studies. And I base my confidence on these studies more than anything else. But remember that you can eat some foods that can help to boost this glutathione tripeptase. You can eat lots of broccoli. Not everybody loves it, but you can. Or desiccated liver. It's an abundance in those things. And not everybody feels like they can stomach to every day, 3 times a day, remember. Because once you've taken it in, you can eat broccoli at breakfast. You got to eat it again at lunch. It just doesn't do you the whole day. And so it starts to be kind of silly. Like there's no way that you can really eat enough of all of these foods. Yes, you can eat an egg in the morning, broccoli at lunch, and some desiccated liver in the evening, or broccoli again. But I defy anybody to keep that up for a month or two. You're gonna fall off the wagon, as they say, because they're just not going to keep up that.
You lost me at desiccated liver. I'm not sure where to go with that.
To take the patch.
I know we have a slight delay here, so I apologize for you hearing me a few seconds.
We won't go into what that all is.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
again, we want to say
the other thing, Carl, is to stay away.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we also want to not forget to say, not only should we eat certain good, healthy foods like liver and desiccated liver, for example, and broccoli, but we also have to stay away from the seed oils. And guess what? Almost everybody that I talk to, they eat seed oils. What do I mean by seed oils? Canola oil, sunflower seed oil, sesame oil, all of these seed oils actually are the wrong kind of oil if we're trying to get our glutathione stores up. It's just olive oil that would work because it's a monounsaturated. The other ones are polyunsaturated oils. Every time you buy a craft dressing of, say, French dressing or Italian dressing, they're made with soybean oil. It's cheap. It's way cheaper, but you are getting the wrong kind of oil, and that actually interferes with our glutathione production.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, there, as you said a moment ago, you can script it out, but can you do it consistently? You might do it for a day, but on day 2, you're already going to hate broccoli in the morning or desiccated liver whenever you find it and eat it. So this natural product, this natural product that LifeWave has created is an amazing product. Now, again, we are not making any statement claims on behalf of LifeWave. We are identifying a product that they have said and can prove to raise the glutathione level by 300%. And we are also acutely aware that in what we say here, and we have people watching in the United States and beyond, this product that LifeWave produces isn't even available in Canada right now. So it is an option for many people in other countries, but in Canada, the product that LifeWave produces is not available. So we do have to look to other means and ways. And you've spelled out some of those practical ways in which we can eat better and eliminate some of those toxins coming into our body. Share with us a little bit more, I guess, in some closing comments about glutathione. We're at the bottom of the hour here, and if we go further, that's fine. But just in a nutshell, could you summarize how people can really take a practical approach to helping themselves with glutathione?
Well, I would say take a look at how you're feeling. If you're feeling loss of energy, glutathione is so connected to our mitochondria cells, which are like our little furnaces inside our body. All these cells are making energy for us. If you're lacking energy, you might want to look at glutathione. If you can't lose that last 10 or 15 pounds, or you're having trouble getting your weight off, that's actually, believe it or not, connected. If you're starting to feel like you've got some numbness or tingling in your extremities, if you've sort of wondering if you might be getting a little bit of nerve damage, that is a good sign that you need more glutathione. If you know that you have blood sugar issues, either too low, which is called hypoglycemia, or too high, which is called diabetes, if you know that you've got blood sugar issues, you might want to take a look at glutathione. I would highly recommend that, because of the toxins that we have in our world, they will affect our nerves. And when you get nerve damage, you're going to have a lot of trouble and pain. And so we want to prevent this. We don't want to wait until our bodies break down, Carl. We want to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. And if anybody's ever had sciatic nerve pain, or if they've ever had diabetic neuropathy or facial myalgia, you know what I'm talking about. You do not want to have your glutathione stores go too low, because it's not even then protecting you in case that's lurking under the surface and there's something about to happen. Sometimes what we feel is when we get a health problem, it's actually something that's been working in your body for years. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you think, wow, how come I woke up this one day and now all of a sudden I've got this pain in my whatever. That was actually not true. You didn't just wake up one day. You are living, breathing being, and you're expecting your body to replace and repair every night you go to sleep. We need glutathione in order to get rid of those toxins and to protect ourselves, because underneath, unbeknownst to us, there are health problems down the road for us. And the difference between whether it'll come to the surface or not is how we take care of our health.
And I love that point. You said, you didn't wake up one day. We say this all the time in our LifeWave community. You didn't just wake up that way one day, and it's been a slow migration in that direction, the wrong direction. And we've got to turn like a big ship turning around in the ocean. It's going to take a while to get it going the opposite way. And we do advocate for our LifeWave products, which are incredibly adept at helping us regain what we've given up. And so many people are in that position where they hear those horrible words, but truthful words from the medical community that says, I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do for you. And we want to invite you that are listening here live and will listen to this later to get in touch with us. The email is listed in the banner, doktok2024@gmail.com. We are going to get you to the answers. We have doctors, hundreds, thousands of doctors in LifeWave community right now that are prepared to answer your questions. And we want to point you in the right direction. That's all we're trying to do, is offer you some practical tips on how to do that. So Judy, I want to thank you for being here again. And for those of you who just joined us late and we're at the bottom here, I've been speaking with Judy Friesen, who's a health coach and consultant of 38 years. She would love to talk to you. I encourage you to get a hold of us at that email or through the particular platform you may be listening to. And next Thursday, we're going to be back here at our regular time, Judy, right? 7 p.m., 5 on the coast and 8 Eastern. And I won't ask you what we're going to talk about, but I'm already excited. It'll be good. So thank you again for joining me.
It's going to be good, Carl. I think our listeners are going to want to hear this one.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Judy. Have a great, wonderful day, the rest of your day there. All right, so that was our afternoon edition of Dok Tok. It goes off Thursdays, normally at 7 p.m., but we made an exception today. And we want to encourage you to get to the person who invited you perhaps to this call to share this out as you have maybe been inspired, maybe been challenged, maybe something we said has gotten into you and says, you know what, I think I can do that. We assure you, you can do it because your health and everything about it. And I really want to just spend just a second here or two talking to people who've made choices in their health that they regret. And you know who you are. The last 3 years have been difficult for us, no doubt. We had the medical community on us. We had the government. We had the World Health Organization, WEF. And some of you, I've talked to some of you, and my heart breaks for you. I can assure you there is a way out of that. Get in touch with us, doctalk2024@gmail.com. We'll see you next Thursday here on Things That Matter, because your health is certainly one of those things that matter. God bless you.